IT guy once.
Yeah, it's probably sir disabled from their side. I'll ask them to enable.
No, the message says that there is no existing account for this email address, right? So anyway, just speak to them once. Yeah, right. And tell them it's very important. I'm sure they will be able to figure something out.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll certainly make sure.
Other things will not be a problem. So, I mean, formulas, Power Query, everything will work. Only custom visuals you will not be able to use. Other than that, all the other 95% will work for you, right? Without signing in.
Yes.
Perfect. Any other question, anybody? Okay. Now, if you remember, in the map, we had kept two levels. So we have the state and the city. And what is the reason for that? Because now you have these arrows with you. For example, if I click on the single arrow, which is called the drill down, and I click on, let's say, New South Wales, it takes me to all the cities within New South Wales, right? If I click on South Australia, it takes me to all the cities within South Australia, right? Like this. And if I click on the expand button, it will not show me the states, it will only show me the cities. Now, like I said yesterday, we don't have the latitude and the longitude data. So that's why it's not working perfectly, because it doesn't know where is Newcastle, right? It thinks that Newcastle is somewhere here in London as well, which I'm sure there must be one. Now, you might say, but why does this problem happen? It happens because we don't have the lat and long with us, right? But if you go level by level, for example, if I click on the expand button, then it is very clear what to do. It will not go outside Australia, right? You will notice nothing is coming in correctly. Everything is being shown only in Australia, like this. Okay. The same thing is true for the line chart as well. At my level 1, it shows me the years. So I have 12, 13, 14, 15. If I click on the expand button, it shows me the year and the quarter, the year, quarter, and the month, and the year, quarter, month, and the day. The slicer is, of course, going to make it dynamic like this. And if you would like to go within only 1 year, then I can click on the drill down. And now when I click on 2014, it takes me within 2014 and shows me all the 4 quarters within 2014. And if I click on the double arrow, that means that it is aggregating. It is telling me that the sum of Q4 for all the 4 years, right? 12, 13, 14, 15 is 3,16,000, right? Perfect. So that's what we had done yesterday, and we will continue from there. Okay. So one custom visualization that I had shown you was called the donut chart, which is the drill down donut chart. Some of these are made by Microsoft. Some of them are made by other companies. And how do you make them work? You just have to go to more visuals. And in more visuals, we have more than 300 visualizations available. You can just search for the one that you want. So I'll show you a different one today, right? I will search for the pulse chart, POLSE. As you can see, this one is free of cost, and it has been made by Microsoft. Another very good feature that they have added very recently is that you can download a sample, right, for every chart, which is very helpful because it helps you understand, is this something that you would like to use and how to use it, right? So both things are possible, how to use it and whether it is useful for you or not. So I will download the sample just to show it to you. And I will open the file. And my Power BI file is, okay, let it open first. One second, it has opened on my other monitor. Let me switch to my current monitor. How do I do that? One moment. seems to be stuck. I'm not sure what to do. Yeah, it's working now. Okay, see this, everybody? So like this, you can create a pulse chart. Very easy to create. And the beauty of this chart is that when I click on the play button, do you see what's happening, everybody? It actually draws a pulse for you. I mean, it looks so nice and it is so practical because when you're presenting data, you might want to show a story behind the data, right? So you can say that from this to this period, this is how the performance was, right? Like that. So here you notice there's a counter at the top as well. And now you have these annotations as well, right? That you can keep. Do you see this? This is such a nice way of presenting the data. And how do we do it? If you look at the chart, it's very simple. In the event title and the event description, do you see we have kept the event here, right? And if I show you the data, all they have done is they have created this. Do you see this? There is a event column and an event description column. Okay. Let me remove the blank values. So you notice that on these 6 dates, there is an event that has happened and they have written it in the table itself. So it says Windows 10 Microsoft Data Insights Summit. And here you will notice that we are able to see the same thing. Like this. So once again, if I show you the event here, removing the blank, right? Do you see these? These are the events that are there and the same events are coming in the annotation as well, like this. Okay, now the thing is that all these charts are different. Like even the ones that have been made by Microsoft, they're all different, right? So if you ask me, are they all easy to use? That depends. Like there are certain charts that use R. That means that you need to have R installed on your computer. I'll just give you an example. So if I go to forecast, you will notice that I have something called forecasting with Arima, right? And if you scroll down, you will notice that it says R package dependencies. So I need to have Proto and Zoo installed. The good part is that it is auto installed. So if you have not already installed it on your computer, it will install the dependencies automatically. Obviously, the R software you will have to install yourself, right? Now I have R installed on my computer, so I can give you this example. Let me download the sample. And see this, everybody. So you don't have to do any coding here, right? If you want to, you can. But here's the cool thing that you can actually use an R visual. Look at this. So what this means is that the visualization that you see, right? This has not been made by Power BI. This has actually been done by R, but it is being shown on Power BI. So Power BI is like a platform, right? So let me just see if I can show it to you. If you notice this, I can actually run the code on R and then bring it back to Power BI and then show the code, right? Right? So what is the process? Your data is on Power BI. You take the data, as a tuple or a data frame or a list table, whatever it is, and then you put it in R or Python. R or Python does the calculations using its own libraries and packages, and then it is sent back to Power BI, and Power BI can present the chart to you. Okay? So which is wonderful because it opens up so many possibilities, right? Because now you can use Power BI as well and R as well and Python as well, right? Okay, now there are many things in custom visual. I can't show every one to you because there are so many of them. But I'll just show you the one that is very, very cool. This is called InfoRiver. Now, InfoRiver has, it was announced a couple of years back, and it has very fast, very rapidly, it has become really, really good, right? These are paid, obviously. But then when you look at it, you will be amazed to see the sort of things you can do in Power BI, right? Again, don't do it. I just want to show it to you. Let me open any one of these. Let me open the premium one, and I will download the sample. And prepare to be amazed. I mean, this is beautiful. It's almost like there is a software that is running within Power BI, right? All of you must be thinking that Power BI is for creating charts and visuals and dashboards, right? Look at this. Right? Just give it a minute to load. Do you see this, everybody? This is literally a software like Excel that is running inside Power BI. Do you see all these options, everybody? Look at this. I have all the options that I would want to clean and prepare the data and make a pivot and create a chart. For example, look at this. See, I can manage my column. I have filters, I have notes, I have conditional formatting, I have templates, right? I have font size, font color, all of this. And you know, this, when people see it for the first time, they're very surprised. They say, but what is exactly happening? Like, is this a chart? Like, is it a visualization? It is. Power BI is like a web page. For example, when I go online and I open any website, what is running at the backend? We are running HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at the backend, isn't it? That is very similar to how Power BI works. So whatever you see on the page is actually like a web page on Power BI. That is why when you zoom in, you see I can zoom in and zoom out. How is that even possible? I can zoom in and zoom out because it's like a web page. For that matter, even Excel is like a web page, but we'll discuss that some other day. And just look at the number of things available, right? It's almost like an Excel software, right? Running inside Power BI. Just see this. I mean, imagine how much of your work will get automated, and you know, you don't have to do half of the work on Excel and then bring it to Power BI. You can do everything within Power BI directly. Right? Just check all of this out. So you have your variance charts and like really advanced calculations as well. This is specifically for financial data, as you can see, right? Like this. And you even have these dynamic groupings available. Right? Look at this. I can even pin it, right? So that it appears permanently. Right? Okay, any question on this? Anyone?
Previously, you just run through the code and use that in so like can you just show how that you had just a couple of minutes ago.
No, I did not get the question. Say that again.
So like you are the code in Power BI and you run that code and directly in R.
Correct.
So like how you manage to like pick that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it now because it will take time, but I'll just walk you through an example and you will get the idea.
Yes,
Just give me a moment. Once again, I don't have to Google it because remember on Lucid Chart, all these links have already been given to you. Let me open it here itself. So let's come to Lucid and let me show you for R and Python both. Okay. So let's first go to Python and let's go to R as well. Perfect. Okay, I just walk you through the steps as to how it works. Of course, first you have to install R, right? And once you have done that, I can, if I want to import the data using R as well, then I can open Power BI. I will not load an Excel file. I'll directly go to get data, other, and then select R script, right? Once that happens, right, then this is all the settings. But let me show you the visualization. Okay, please see this. So first I click on the R button, I go to enable. This interface for the code opens up, right? And then you just have to write the code here. So this is auto-generated, this part, where I don't know how many of you work on R, but we are basically creating a data set using the data frame. And that's it. If you look here, I can write the R code here. Right? So that would be the library or the package that we are using, and that's my code. Right? That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Same for Python as well. In Python, you can literally write the Python code. So you first import your library, in this case, pandas, and just create your data frame. Right? That's it. Right? Let me just show you one visual as well. So, okay, this is like one of the easiest ones. So I'm using the visualization library, so matplotlib. So we're importing matplotlib as PLT, and then we're simply saying that my dataset.plt, what type of chart do we want? We want a scatter chart. X-axis is age, y-axis is the weight, color is red, right? Like this. That's all. I might have an example with me. Just give me a minute to see if I have it or not. Hold on. So Power BI and Power BI once again. Power BI visuals. Do I have something on R and Python here? No. Let me go back a folder and let's see. Yeah, I do have something. Let's see if this works. I was having some trouble with my Python installation, but let me see. Hopefully it will work. Let me try once. Yes, I do want to enable it. No, there is some problem. 1 second. No module named matplotlib. Just give me a second. See that it is installed. Hold on. Okay, it says it is already satisfied. Okay, but then why is it not working? Hold on. No, I'm sorry, guys. So some problem with my installation. Anyway, you can see the code at least. So all I'm doing is literally the code that we write on Jupyter or on PyCharm, whatever IDE you work on. You can literally write the same thing here. That's all. Okay. This is something I'll have to figure out later. Import US. I don't really know. 1 second. Just try one last time. No, it's not working. Yeah, anyway, but I've given you the links here, so you can go to the official Microsoft website. Even otherwise on the internet, there are many articles on this. So if you go to Towards Data Science, which is the best website for data science and machine learning and analytics and BI, you can just search for Python Power BI, right? And you can see that there are many articles on this, right? How to integrate both of these. Right? Of course, it will get a little technical because when you're working with Python, then you are expected to have, a coding background. So, don't be scared about that. One more person I would request all of you to follow on LinkedIn is called Moiz Ali. Moiz is the creator of PyCaret, which is an ML library. And I mean, it's been doing really well, right? So his idea is that, they wanted to create a library, if I can just show it to you, which is very easy to use for non-programmers. I mean, I don't think anything can be done by non-programmers, but it is low code, right? What we were discussing yesterday as well. So this is low code machine learning, which means that you don't have to do a lot of coding to be able to get the result that you want, right? I personally haven't had the chance to use it yet, so I'll not be able to tell you much about it. But then if you are interested in this area, then you should definitely check this out. Let me just try to give you one example. Hold on. So dataset sample dot drop in place, setup. Yeah, it does seem to be quite easy to work on, at least at first glance, right? So anyway, do make sure to check this out, right? It's called PyCaret. That would be PyCaret. I'll just share it with you. Others can probably ignore it. I mean, if you are definitely not going to be working in coding, then ignore it, but at least see the website. For those of you who are interested to get into data analytics, you definitely need to have a look at this. Okay? Perfect. Let's go back. So yeah, so like this, there are many different visualizations available on the store. Now, I obviously can't take you through every single one. Even I have never gone through every single one. But on my Lucid, you will notice that I have done this. So these are the inbuilt visualizations. Then there are custom visuals, and I've highlighted some very important things for you. Number one, we have InfoRiver. That's the one we just saw. Then we have Zebra BI. This is also for financial visualization. Then we have HTML, CSS, right? Then we have Python R, PyCaret here as well. Then we have external tools. So you can even add additional tools to Power BI. But this is mostly for IT folks. So as a data analyst, you can ignore it. Not important at the moment, but it's good to know that Power BI is not just a platform where Microsoft says we will be the only people telling you what to do. You can create your own application and add it. It's like an app that you create for a phone. You can create your own app and add it to Power BI, right? For example, I have an add-in called Analyze in Excel. So what does it do? Any data set that I have on Power BI, if I click on Analyze in Excel, it will create an Excel file for me, which is so cool. Now, remember, this feature has not been given by Microsoft, but this has been created by somebody else, which is so cool. Do you see this? Do you know where this pivot table is coming from, everyone? This pivot table that I'm creating right now, okay? This pivot table is actually coming from my Power BI file, which is this one. How cool is that? Now, if you go to the source of the pivot, think what will happen, because usually the source of a pivot will be the same Excel file, correct, or a different Excel file. But now when I go to the change data source connection properties, do you see this? It is telling me that my pivot table is not actually connected to a data set on Excel. It is connected to a local host, right? So that is what it is connected. It is connected to my Power BI file, right? So this is the connection string that we have. See, like I said before, if you are going to work in Power BI only using basic charts and all, then you don't have to worry about the IT side of it. But then if you have any interest in data analytics is not just about Excel and Power BI anymore. You have to step into IT. That line is very blurred now. So it's not that we have data analysts and IT guys. Data analysts like me are expected to know a little bit of IT because we can't survive without it, because we have these tools that we have to use daily, right? Okay. I just want to show you one last, custom visual, and then I'll take your questions and we'll do a different example today. So I want to show you something called Plotly. But first, let me tell you what is Plotly. So Plotly, everyone is a front end, right? So Plotly allows you to create these beautiful visualizations. So if you notice, how should I show it to you? Just give me a moment. Okay, look at this. So if you want to create these very interactive, dynamic dashboards and charts, you can use Plotly. Now, how do you use Plotly? If I can just show you, give me a moment. Yeah, correct. This is the one I wanted. So if you look at the different types of visualizations available, it's a very large list. I mean, some of these are very basic, like pie charts and bubble charts. Look at these, creating and updating figures. How cool is this, right? And you can see there are many, many different types of charts available, right? You even have these 3D charts, right? Look at this. I mean, this is crazy, right? I mean, there are like 100+ charts available here. Okay, now the question is, why are we even talking about it? I mean, this is something which we use in Python, right? But then what is the relevance of talking when we're doing a Power BI training? Now, here's the thing. Even on Power BI, there is a company called Aquilon who has created a Plotly visual. Please see this, right? It is free of cost, right? I can just download the sample, and this is very cool. Watch this. And I want you all to look at this. I mean, at first glance, you might say, okay, it's a chart. What's the big deal about it? The big deal is that you're not creating these charts on Power BI. You're actually creating these charts on Plotly. So I can do stuff like this. Do you see this? Do you see the 3D chart with 3 axes on it? I can zoom in and zoom out. How amazing is that, right? And that's the beauty of Power BI. It's a platform where you have a lot of charts given to you, pie chart, line chart, area chart, etc. But if you need something even beyond that, you have R, you have Python, you have Plotly, you have everything that you require, right? So if I just show you a simple one, let's say the pie chart, which is this one, doesn't look special. It's a normal chart. I'll just click on the 3 dots and select edit. And if you notice, this is how you create the chart on Plotly, what I've done here. And if I show you give me a moment. Okay. 1 second, guys. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. See this. This is the JSON file which we are using to actually create the chart. Like if you were doing this on JavaScript or on Python, you would have actually written this. And some of it you will understand. Do you see this? Labels. What are my labels? Channel partner, enterprise, government, mid-market, small business. That is each of these 5 colors, right? Then we are saying -1 6, -1 4. This is allowing me to change the size that we have here, right? Of course, I haven't tried it on Power BI, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you directly here or not. Let me just try once. No, I don't think I can do it like this. 1 second. No, I don't know. I'll have to try this out. But anyway, the point here is that if you are a coder who comes from Python or R, this is fantastic because you already have all these things that have been given to you, isn't it? And all you have to do is you can now actually work on Power. Oh, anyway, I can show you the number here. Do you see this? I'm changing the number and my charts are also changing. How cool is that? Right? So again, stop thinking about Power BI like simply a dashboard. It's literally a platform where you can do programming as well. And I'm giving you a live demonstration. Right? Okay, so I'm not going to show you more because by now I hope all of you have a good idea. Let me know if you have any questions that you want to ask me. Otherwise, we will continue with a different example.
So I had a question, sir. All these features, are they available in Tableau as well?
See, I can't say all, obviously, because they are competitors. So R and Python integration is in Tableau as well, but not in the free version, only on the paid version, right? So I cannot show you R and Python because I'm also on the free version. But then if I can show you on this.
In the Tableau desktop, you mean?
In Tableau desktop, correct. I'll just show you how to do it. So you just have to go to, 1 second. Anyway, basically you have to go to the last option in Tableau. Then you have to set up an external connection, right? The library we are using is called tab.py. And how do you write the code within Tableau? You have to write script_real. That is the function. After writing script_real, you can actually write your R or Tableau or R or Python code inside it.
Okay.
Right, like this. There's a lot of information on Google, as you can see. So, I mean, if this is an area that you want to work in, you can definitely Google it. You'll find a lot of content. Right?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this one. So basically, if you have the paid version of Tableau, you can go to Help, Settings and Performance, and then you go to Manage Analytics Extension Connection, right? In this, you will notice we can set up a connection with both tab.py and rserve is what we use, right? So rserve basically allows you to sort of, connect the two tools together. Let's keep it like that.
Okay.
Like this. Just Google it. You should find everything.
Okay.
In fact, on LinkedIn Learning, there are also some courses available on this. I just take a minute to show you. So if you look at Tableau, Python, there's a course called Tableau for Data Scientists. It's not a very advanced course, but it's good. If you notice, this doesn't seem to be the one. Hold on. No, not this one. Tableau and R. Is this the one?
Tableau is a versatile tool.
Yeah, this is the one. Do you see this? So this is a wonderful course, right? I mean, I did it a long time back, but this, I never ended up using anything because I don't work on Tableau much. But if you notice, they're actually explaining step by step how to run an R code. Let me just give you one example.
Okay, I will show you. That's a tablet of distance, and you can clear it to it and drag the slider tip to the right.
1 second.
Once you have your data in Tableau proper that we get from or beta, and I had my
Okay, I think this should be good enough. Do you see what we are doing? We are saying script_real to create a linear regression, because see, in Tableau, we can't do linear regression directly. Even in Power BI, there is no method to do linear regression, but I'm able to put in my dependent, independent variables and do linear regression. Right? Like this. Okay. Cool. So let's see if there's anything else on the chat window. Yeah, Plotly, yeah, is fantastic. I haven't used it much, to be honest, but then I have seen some very good visuals. Okay, anyway, let's continue with our example. Let's make a new chart, everybody. Let's make a new page. And I would like you to change the name of the page. And we want to call it mini chart. Everyone, make a new page and please call it mini chart. All right. Now, what is the objective? What are we trying to do? We are trying to create something like this. Let me give you a live example. Let me show you my Google dashboard. Okay. Now, what a tooltip means is that if I take my mouse over any visualization, it will not just show me a number, right? For example, right now, when I take my mouse, what does it show me? It shows me a simple black box telling me that it is Q2. Sales is 2,39,000. But you can also do something like this. Do you see how detailed it is? And this box is called a tooltip, which basically means you're creating a chart on top of another chart. Let me give you a different example. Look at the map. No, actually not the map. Let me show you. Onyx also doesn't have it. PBI scatter. Give me a moment. Okay, I don't remember which one has it. HR, no. Wait. Not this one either. I'll find it. I'll just need a minute to find it. Oh, come on. Jiva, map, Onyx, PBI scatter, Superstore. Okay, website decomposition, annual report, small heat. HR2, is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. So if you notice, this is a HR dashboard. And it looks okay, right? Like it looks very professional, good use of colors, right? But here's the cool thing about it. If I take my mouse over mail, do you see what is happening? It is creating a second chart for me, like this. This, everybody, is what you call a tooltip, right? Like this. And this is what I want to teach you, how to make this on Power BI. Okay. So what is the objective? When I take my mouse, right now it is showing me the sales value, right? 2,39,000. But that is not what we want to see. What I would like to see is that when we select any one of these, right? Any one of these points, it should not just show me the sales value. It should show me, let us say, another chart, which is a pie chart, telling me the proportion of the three segments, for example, right? So I want to see within Q1, 49,000, how much is consumer, how much is corporate, how much is home office. Let's see how we do it. First, make a new page, call it mini chart. But how do we connect this page to the other page? To do this, we go to format and we have to make two changes. Number one, in page information, we have to turn on the tooltip like this. Why is this required? Because by turning on the tooltip, by activating the page as a tooltip, we are enabling other pages to access this page. Otherwise, they will not be interconnected, right? But also the page is very large. We would like to reduce the size, isn't it? So we go to Canvas settings and we will change the type, which is the size, to custom, and I'll make it 400 by 300. You can choose any size you want, but now I'm choosing a custom size of 400 by 300, like this. Correct? So we have made two changes. We have enabled the tooltip and we have also changed the size to 400 by 300. Next, we would like to connect this page to the other visualization. So I go to first dash. We will select the chart. We will select the chart. Let me go to my quarter level. Just give me a moment. Okay. And I would like to go to General, Tooltips, and then select which page, the mini chart. So I hope all of you can see this, that I'm connecting the mini chart. Okay, what's happening? My arrow is not coming properly. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay, one more time. My mini chart is connected here, like this. Now, if everything has been done properly, when you take your mouse, it should show this. Right? Please confirm that all of you are able to see this. After this, I will create something on that page. Right now, it's a blank page, but we will create something on that page.
Sir, it shows this page on the this present page. That where you getting this option? The under
The option for
visual
what?
and general. The visual and general. This part I know.
I went to format.
Yes, sir. And I have that.
Say that again.
Yes, sir. I found it. So for format, I go to tooltips and
Go to tooltips and then don't select the auto. The auto will show you the original tooltip, right? The black box. But what we want to do is to show the mini chart like this.
yes. So
Right now,
basically,
yep.
this means that I'm actually connecting just one of these cards or charts.
One of the visuals, you're connecting
yes.
one visual to the other page. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So that means if we are actually want to, we can actually 5 different visuals. We can connect 5 different pages.
Absolutely.
And have 5 different custom tooltip shop.
100%. Did you not see my example? See, I've done the same thing.
Yes.
This one has a different tooltip. This one has a different tooltip. This one has a different tooltip. Right? So in a way, I'm creating 4 pages, but I'm presenting only 1 page to you. Okay, now comes the fun part. I can go to mini chart. First, I'll change the background color. So I will go to canvas background. I will change the color to something else. Let's select a yellow. And then I will make a pie chart on it. Right? So I'll just create a pie or a donut chart, whichever one you want. So you create the chart, and then I'll keep the sales value, and I'll keep the segment. Right? We don't need the legend, so I'll go to format and remove the legend. We also don't want the title, so I will go to general and hide the title. Right? So this looks great. Let me make it a little larger. And now see how nice this is. I can go to any quarter and it tells me for that particular quarter, what is the proportion of my 3 segments. For that matter, you can even create 2 charts. It's not that you have to create only one. Let's say I've created a pie chart. I'll just copy and paste it. And below this, I'll create another pie chart or maybe a different chart. I'll create a bar chart for my category, right? Like this. Just see how cool this is. Now you have so much information that you're able to present in a single chart.
Sir, the mini chart for the.
Yeah, what's the question?
So for the pie chart, you have put in the category in the legend the segment in the legend section.
Segment
and in the values.
sales.
Sir, one of the questions, this might be a little bit, out of topic or probably a little silly questions. I was asking that, I see that the colors that you have selected, these are quite professional. And the way you've oriented them to understand which chart to be which place. So, is there any for the selection of the charts? Is there any thumb rule that anyone should follow? if they have to produce a
The
graph?
selection of colors or the selection of charts?
Both, any of them, sir.
I mentioned this on the first day of the training, right? Just go to any good report and read it. For example, if I type BCG automotive PDF, right? Let me just open a few of these. Just by going through a report, right, by any one of the consulting firms, you get ideas, right? How to present, how to keep the text, what colors to use, what charts to use, like this. Right? So KPMG, BCG, Bain, McKinsey, right? Just go and read their reports, and there's just so much. See, you get so many ideas from it. And that's what I do. Right?
So the reason I asked is because I've tried to present reports in this way through maybe Excel or Python, but I end up choosing really bad color accents, and
See,
even if the data is correct,
yeah, I mean, see, when you begin, you should not get too creative and try to use your own colors. I'll just open the folder once again. You should keep it very safe. What did I tell you when we were doing the charts? I'll just open the file one more time. If you look at the charts that I've created, everybody, you will notice that I have just taken an existing chart and tried to recreate the same thing. Watch this. Look at this. What did I do? I took a KPMG chart and I recreated it. In fact, something like this one. Look at this. This was a BCG chart, and I copied it almost the same way, right? With the same colors and the format and all of that. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to do it blindly without adding your own inputs in it. Like here, what I've done is I have taken exactly the same PwC colors, right? But I have increased the width because I felt the width can be a little larger. And I think this looks great, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, sir, that was my question. So there are so many charts out there for presented by so many people. I can actually take ideas from all of them and apply my own flair and slowly and surely I'll be becoming much better.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a target that, okay, one day I will learn every chart out there and then I will never have to learn. It doesn't work like that, right? You have to continuously keep on reading, keep on looking at other websites and see what others are doing, right? I think that would be the correct approach. So, I mean, give yourself a realistic target that maybe every day or whatever, every second day, you should look at least 20 different charts, right? And maybe take a screenshot and put it somewhere. And look at this. Every chart that I show you, I can guarantee that they would have done different things. See, this one is very different to all the previous ones. Look at this part. I really like this. So what are they doing here? They're showing a band, right? Like this.
Yes. That becomes very clear.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm having some trouble connecting this mini chart. Actually, my interface is
no
a
problem.
little bit different from yours. Okay. Sir, you have to enable me.
Should work. Try again.
Yes, sir. Now it's working. Sir, my format is coming like this. And
correct. The reason for that is that you have not updated Power BI. Can you just go to File in the top left corner?
Okay.
Yeah. And then go to About at the bottom. So you're working on August 2021, right?
Yes, sir.
We are working on March 2022. Your Power BI is a really old Power BI version.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have downloaded it early.
Correct. So what you will have to do is to maybe after the workshop, you can uninstall it and then reinstall it, right? But for now, I'll tell you what to do. Just go to Format, come to the bottom. First, select the chart. First, click on the chart. right? And then go to format, come to the bottom and look at the second last option, tooltip, open that. Yeah, scroll down, go to page, no, a little above, don't go down so much. Yeah, and the mini chart. Okay. It should work now.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, this is very cool. This is nothing special in the sense that it's not a unique Power BI feature or anything like that. This is available on Tableau, Click, almost on all BI tools. You have the ability of a tooltip. Even Excel has a tooltip, but you can't customize it too much. Like you can't make a chart on top of another chart, but it works, right? So Power BI does it very well, but not to say that other tools don't do it. Other tools do the same thing as well. Okay, I would like you to now tell me, I have a very simple question, all right? Let me make a new page. We have the profit with us, everybody, and we have the sales value with us, correct? Can you tell me what is the profit margin? Let me make a table first, in which I'll keep my market. I'll keep my profit and my sales value, right? Very simple. Can you tell me what is the profit margin for all of these 5 markets? How do you do that? Anyone? Like if you were doing this in Excel, it is very simple. You would have written equal to C2 equal to B2 divided by C2, correct? But then how do you do this here? How do you write a formula in Power BI? Any ideas? Anyone? Okay. Now, but you see the requirement, right? I mean, visuals are great. Like Excel cannot match the quality of visuals. I agree to that, right? But you also have to build formulas, right? Your raw data is the raw data. It is not going to have every single element in it. You will need to create some calculations yourself while you're working on Power BI. And to do that, we use a language called DAX, right? So it is called Data Analysis Expressions. It's a different language. It is not the same as Excel. It is a completely different language, right? But very similar to Excel. Data Analysis Expressions. And DAX does not work only on Power BI. It works on Power BI. It works on SQL Server. It also works on Power Pivot in Excel. So there are 3 tools, and on all the 3 tools, you can work on DAX. But the question is, where are you going to write a formula? Because there's no formula bar right at the top. In Excel, there is always a formula bar, so I can put in an equal to and then write a formula. But then how do I write the formula if there's no formula bar? So first, I would like you to click on New Measure. Everybody, please select in the Home tab, select New Measure. It says that it will create a DAX expression. So I'll go to New Measure. Right? But before I show you how to do it here, let me go to Excel first. And I want to work on the same data, in fact. So let me open, just give me a second. Sales and market and profit. Okay. Oh, Okay, tell me, how do you find the profit margin? If you were to do this on Excel, forget Power BI for a minute. Let's say you had to do it on Excel. How would you do it? Guys, what is the profit margin?
Divide the profit
For the
by,
total business. No, not just for, if for Africa, we could have written D4 by C4. I agree with that. But what if I want to find the profit margin for the entire business as a whole? How will I do that? Equal to what?
sum of profit by sum of sales.
Correct. So sum of profit divided by sum of sales. Does everybody agree to this? That's how we calculate profit, right? For example, if Unilever is selling 200 brands, how do you find the profit margin for Unilever as a company? You add up all the profits, you add up all the sales value, and then you say sum of profit divided by sum of sales, correct? And the answer is 11.61%. Fair enough. Let me show you the formula as well. Sum of profit divided by sum of sales, right? Let us do the same thing in Power BI. So here also we'll write the same thing. We will say equal to, we have to give a name to the measure as well. We will say the sum. Now you notice that the functions that you have in Power BI, some of them are similar to Excel. For example, we have sum, we have average, we have length, we have left, right? But we don't have a VLOOKUP. We have something called related, right? We do have a weekday, which is similar to Excel, but we also have something called same period last year, which is not available on Excel, right? But for now, we will keep it very simple. I will say sum of profit. Now, why is it saying fact underscore sales profit? Anyone? What does this mean? Fact underscore sales profit.
Sir, that's because fact sales is the name of our sheet, and it's
Not the
referencing
sheet,
it from
not the sheet, the name of the table.
Yes.
Right? In our original Excel file, it was a sheet, but once you load it in Power BI, it becomes a table, right? So this is the table name and this is the column name, right? So I will say fact sales profit divided by sum of fact sales, like this. Click on enter. Now, where is this formula created? You will notice that it has come here. Profit margin. Now, we also want to make this into a percentage, right? So I will select the profit margin. We will go to measure tools and I will convert this into a percentage, right? Let's put this here and you notice it gives us 11.61%. Please try this, everyone. Profit margin. Right? Any questions, anyone on this?
Sir, mine has become a it doesn't show the percentage. Did I miss something?
I'm sorry, what has it become?
It's become 0.11 instead of 11.6.
Yeah, so just do this, convert this into a percentage. Measure tools, percent.
Yes, it's one. Sir, another question, sir. When you expand the card, just the entire table also expands with it, right? But yeah, when you yeah.
No, I did not follow. When I expand the what?
Yeah, when you drag it from the bottom right, if you drag it out, like does the table also expand?
No, no.
Uh,
The font size is separate. So if you would like to increase the font size, then you have to go to format. You have to select the size and you have to increase it from here. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes, sir, it works. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this was fairly simple. Now I have another question for you. We have the order date, okay, and we have the shipping date. Can you tell me what can we calculate using both of these, the order date and the ship date?
So the shipping duration, that is.
Right. So what we typically call the dispatch time, right?
Yes, sir.
So if let me go to my data. This is the data view, by the way. Below the visualization, below the report, you have the data view. So if you look at any one of these transactions, like one order was placed on 20th March, but it was shipped on 2nd April. Now that is what we would like to know. What is the dispatch difference, right? How do you do that? Now that you know how to write a calculation, can you tell me how to do this?
So it will make a new measurement.
Okay, let's do that.
And,
I'll go to new measure. Wait. I'll go to new. I will call it my dispatch time. And then what do I write?
It will be, I think, what's the date time?
What?
It's,
I can't write ship date. It
no,
is
sir.
not able to select ship date.
Ideally, it should be like sorry, it's a fact says
It will also not work.
order
See,
date.
it is not working. I can't select my shipping date.
There's
And you know why? Because when I was getting 11.61%, that is one number, isn't it?
Yes.
See, the point of a measure is that, just let me mute everyone. 1 second. Okay. See, the point of a measure is that a measure will create a value from your data. It is creating a single value. What is that single value in our case? 11.61%. Correct? But then when I say that I have 50,000 records and I'm trying to find ship date minus order date for every single record, how many results will come?
It will be like an array,
right? It will not be a value, right? It will be an array. It will be a list of all the items. Does that make sense, everybody? For example, if I go back to my file here, right, and I can show it to you here itself. Let me just delete everything else to avoid any confusion. Okay, so when I say equal to, okay, this might confuse you. Let me just convert it to a range. 1 second. Let's keep it simple. So all I'm going to do is I will say equal to ship date minus order date, and then I drag it down. Correct? This is my list of dates. It's not a single value, correct? It's a list of dates. I want to create a new column completely. Now, new measure will not work because a new measure will create a value from your data. It will not create a column for you. If you want to create a column, then I go to the data view. Please do this, everyone. Go to the data view. And here I will select new column. See, even for this, you are using a DAX. That means you're using a DAX expression. But the difference is that a measure will create a single value like the profit margin, but the new column will create a new column completely, right?
Sir, and I think it comes like similar to that in DAX in the visual. So column equals to just
correct. So let's just do this. So I go to new column, and here also the formula bar will come. I will call it my dispatch time, which is equal to nothing but. Now, do you see here I can select ship date because we are creating a new column completely minus my order date. Press enter, and there you go. We have our new column. Right? This is correct. The format is incorrect, so you will have to change it to a whole number, right? Because the difference will be a number, right? Not a date. So like 5 days, like that. Any questions, anyone? So I've shown you two different ways of using DAX. One was to create a value like a profit margin. The other was to create a new column completely, which is called a calculated column, right? Which is you go to the data view and then you use new column, right? Which is the calculation is simple enough. We have ship date minus order date.
Sir, please can you show me how you converted this date time string to the date?
Of course. So I selected my dispatch time. Let me just highlight it for you. I went to column tools and then I selected whole number.
Yes.
Okay, 1 second, everyone. I'm having some trouble with my mouse. I'll just check. Not opening. What to do now? I think I'll have to do this later. Anyway, yeah. Any questions so far? Anyone? Right. So feeling comfortable with the formulas, right? Okay. Now we want to find out the average of the shipping, the dispatch time, right? So I would like to know that on an average, in each of the 5 markets, how much time does it take to send an order? Which is a fair question, isn't it? So what do? We will put our dispatch time in the table, in the values, and I will change it to the average like this. So what does it tell me? That more or less every market has the same average dispatch time. Like there is a little bit of variation from 3.91 to 4, but then it's more or less the same, right? Like this. But here's the thing, when you go year by year, the results might be a little different. Why don't we check that? So if I make a slicer for my order date, let us see if that holds true or not. For example, if I only look at the last 6 months, do you see there is a little bit of variation that happens? Now you might say, really, but what is the difference between 3.87 and 4? But it's a huge difference, right? Because everything is attached to money. If you're spending a little bit of extra time on shipping on average, that means you're spending either less money or more money, right? So a business might want to look at these small differences as well. So this is my profit margin plus my dispatch time. Right? Right? Am I using a G402? Yeah, I use a couple of different mice. I have a G502, right? I have like 4 mice with me, but yeah. So I have a 102, a 402, a 502, and an MX Master with me, and a Pebble. So I have 5 Logitech mice. Anyway, let's do one more. Now, we will also take a 5-minute break, right? Otherwise, we'll sit for a very long time. But I'll just tell you what we are trying to do. Let's say I want to find my QOQ change, right? So what that means is that I have made a column chart and we would like to show the order date and the sales value, right? At my quarter level, right? Let me also go to format and select the data label. And I can see that my sales have grown from 3,38,000 to 4,80,000. Everyone, 3,38,000 to 4,80,000. Can you tell me what is the growth that has happened? Anyone?
In the first, I think it's about 30.
Yeah, but here's the thing, no, we don't want to say an about. We want to precisely
Right.
show what growth has happened. Similarly, what is the degrowth in Q1, correct? How do you do that? Now, this is a slightly more complex calculation, right? Like earlier, we were just doing profit margin, which is nothing but profit, sum of profit divided by sum of sales. Dispatch time was ship date minus order date, right? This one is a little more complex because we want to take 480 minus 338 divided by 338, correct? That is how we will get to know what is the change, YOY change that has happened, year over year growth that has happened.
Yes.
But to be able to do these calculations, we need to first create something called a date table. Let me just open that for you. So we'll have to create something called a date table. And why is it a must to create? Because if you want to work with DAX for time intelligence functions, so that means that whenever you're doing a calculation, which is using time or date, like year, quarter, month, day, weekday, there is a prerequisite. So this is mandatory. You will have to have at least one date table in your model. How to make it, how to connect it to a file and how to do the calculation, we will do that. But then, something new that we are talking about, how to create a date table in Power BI. This is a very important topic. As you can see, there are hundreds of articles and videos talking about this. So how to create a date table in Power BI, right? Okay, so we'll come back and I'll show you how to do it. We'll spend about 15 minutes on this. It's going to be a slightly long example, but then a very important one. You will learn how to create a complex DAX formula, right? Okay, but before we resume, let us quickly take a short 5-minute break. In any case, our session typically extends beyond 12 o'clock, right? So just for 5 minutes, I have to make a quick call as well. So I'll do that. So insert text box and let's look at the time. So we are looking at my clock, okay? So we will resume at 32, okay, sharp. Don't go anywhere too far. Sharp at 11:32 we resume, right? Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. Let us continue. So we have done two things so far. We have seen profit margin, that was sum of profit divided by sum of sales. Very simple. And then we also created a new column, that was the shipping time or the dispatch time, which was dispatch time is equal to ship date minus order date. Are both of these DAX expressions? Absolutely. The difference is that this one is a measure, which means it will only give you one value. And this one is a column. It will create an entirely new column for you, right? Now what we want to do is to create a measure that will tell us the change from one quarter to the next quarter. Okay, let us see how we do it. Let me do it first, and then I want you guys to copy it, or rather write it yourself. I will go to new measure, and I'm going to call it quarter over quarter change equal to. Now first I will declare a variable, and I will call it current quarter. The green color is any name. You can type anything you want. So I'm saying that my current quarter is equal to calculate the sum of sales. So what does it mean? It is the sum of sales, nothing special. It means exactly the same number, 3,38,000, 4,80,000, the same number will be shown. Now we also want to calculate another variable, which is the previous quarter. What is that equal to? Right, so this was my current quarter. Now this is my previous quarter. Previous quarter is, again, calculate the sum of sales, right, which is fact sales, and now it is asking me for the filter. Now in the filter, I will write date, right? Add. So date add will shift the date to the previous quarter, right? That means that right now I'm on Q2, but I would like to go to Q1. If I'm on Q3, I would like to go to Q2. So in my date add, I will write my order date, comma, -1, comma, quarter, right? And finally, we will return the result, which is that I want to divide my current quarter minus previous quarter divided by previous quarter. If my quarter is already the first quarter, then there is no previous quarter. So I want to say first quarter. Let us see if the result is correct or not. So I'm going to put my QOQ change in the tooltips, right? Now, if you notice, quarter one is the first quarter, but why is the result not coming properly? Do you see it is showing me first quarter everywhere? Anyone? Why is the result not coming properly?
Sir, I think you've returned only first quarter as a string.
No, but I've written current quarter minus previous quarter divided by previous quarter. This is my alternate result. In case I'm doing -0, then that is when this result will come. See, if I remove this, right, now you look at the result, it is not coming properly. Why not? Because of this. Remember, we just discussed that if you want to do calculations which involve date and time, there is a prerequisite, and the prerequisite is that you need to have a date table in your model, right? So I'm going to create one. Before all of you copy the formula, right, let us create a date table. I'll tell you how to do it. Please go to the data view. Please go to the data view, and then this time we are using DAX, not just to create a new column, but to create a new table. Right? So we are using DAX to create a measure, profit margin, to create a column, which is my dispatch time. Now we're using DAX to create a new table completely. And this table I'm going to call as my date table. Now there are many different ways of doing it. I have a video on YouTube explaining this, but for now we'll create a very simple table called calendar auto. Let me know if you have any trouble doing this, everyone. Date underscore table is equal to calendar auto. Right? But the problem is that this table is not connected to the other table. So now I go to the relationship view, the model view. I know it's a little complex, but we have to understand this part. We go to the model view and I will connect both of them. Now, how do we connect both the tables? I will select my order date and then drag it to the date like this. And we are done. We don't have to do anything more. So first step, we went to data. We created a new table called the date table, calendar auto. Second step, we went to the modeling view and we connected the date to the order date like this. Right? Now comes the fun part. Now when I go back to my formula, I will not use the order date. I will use the new date table that I've created. Do you see this? I just put an arrow. I'm not using my order date. I'm using my date table date in the axis, right? Because a connection has been created, right? Now, what about my formula? If I go to my QOQ change, in the date add, I will write not my order date, but I will select the new date that we created, which is date table date. Let us see if it works now. So if you notice, in Q1, it says first quarter because that is the first quarter. In Q2, do you see? There was a 42% growth. Then there was a 27% growth, 36%. Then there was a 52% fall like this. Let me also convert this into a percentage. Right? And this is what we wanted, right? So we know that there is a 41% growth from 338 to 480, right? Now you can take your time and do this. I'm not going to copy and paste this on the chat window because I would like you to type it yourself. That is how you will get comfortable with this.
Sir, if you could please explain this part. The date add date table date -1 and quarter. Sir, is my voice really low, right?
No, say that again. Say that last part again.
Yeah. Sir, I'm just saying that if you could please, this date add part, like if you could explain I understand that from date add, I'm taking the date first and the -1 quarter, that part, if you could just.
The -1 quarter means that from Q2, I'm going to Q1, from Q3, I'm going to Q2, Q4 goes to Q3, Q1 goes to Q4, like this.
Okay, and the quarter is a preloaded function inside this, right? Like quarter wise.
So
or
if I said year, what will happen?
Okay,
right? If I was working like this, it will go to the previous year. So do you see? This is 18%, 27%, 26%, like this.
And so this is basically
so data shifts the date, right? -1.
I understand. Thank you, sir. I'll try to.
Yeah. Any questions, anyone? Right. If you're having any trouble, I'll also put it on the chat window so that all of you can have a look. There are also two videos that I'll be sharing with you. One is on how to calculate the YOY or the QOQ difference on Excel, Power BI, and Tableau. And the other is on date tables, where I've explained date tables in much more detail. Right? So I'll just share it with you. So in Power BI, I will show you. See, there is one video explaining how to use date tables, right? It's a 17-minute video, very detailed. And there's one more, which is on how to calculate YY growth in Power BI versus Tableau versus Excel, right? So I'll just share both of these with you. So copy and paste, right? This was one, and the other one was wait a second. Yep. And the other one was on date tables, which is this one. Work problem. Let us close this and let me quickly show you how to create a date table in Power Query as well. Right. Any questions, anyone? Right. So see, you're learning something new. It is very similar to working on Excel. It's not a programming language, right? It is a functional language. So it is very similar to Excel, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to learn, right? I mean, you will have to spend a lot of time, understand the fundamentals, right? Don't just think that, oh, this is like Excel, I can just spend 5 hours and learn everything. This is such a wide tool, wide language that you will spend probably 4 years before you reach an intermediate level. It's a very advanced, very deep language, right? There is a very nice book available on this, which is called The Definitive Guide to DAX. It's also there on Amazon, right? The Definitive Guide to DAX, right? This one. Right? Any question otherwise? All good?
Sir, my Q1Q was actually created in the date table first. Did I return it wrong?
Say that again.
My Q1Q result change, that column that we created, it was actually created in the date table. The date table that we created, that column was created over there.
I'm not able to follow. What was created?
Should I share my screen?
Yeah.
Sharing my screen. Please, sir, do you see it, sir?
Correct.
So this is what's happened.
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter. So which table it belongs to doesn't matter, because I'll just share and tell you.
Yes,
the measure never resides in a table. For example, Right now, the QOQ change is in the sales table,
Yes.
but you can always switch it, right? I can go to the QOQ change, right? And then I can go to measure tools and I can change the home table. You can change it to any table. Like I said, it doesn't matter. The measure is independent. If you have 5 tables with you, you can put the measure in any table that you want. Right?
Yes, sir, I understand. Sir, and one more thing, sir, I actually I couldn't, the bar chart that I have, I wasn't able to format it into quarters. I think I have placed the date in the axis and the sales value in the value section.
Yeah, and the QOQ change in the tooltips.
Yes, sir, I have that there as well.
And also don't show it at the year level. Here, the result
Yes,
will
sir.
not be correct. Come to the quarter level.
Yes, sir. Quarter.
Sir, how to get the values on the chart?
Sure. So you go to format and then you select data labels.
Okay.
Sir, it's working, sir. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So we have a little bit of time. Let's do one more example. What should I show you now? Just let me think. Okay, let's do it this way. So I'm creating a bar chart. In fact, let me refer to my notes. I don't want to do a bad example. I want to do a good example with you. So just give me a moment to find it. Hold on. So desktop, and let me come to my Power BI notes. Let me see. We have done this one. So let's come to let's do the scatter chart, right? We haven't done that. This is very important. So let's come to another page and I want to call it the scatter chart. Okay. Now scatter charts are obviously very popular and they are used by lots of companies. I'll just give you a few examples so that you know what I'm talking about. Let me come to my additional PowerPoint, which is, where is it? Notes extra. I think this is the one. I want to give you a few examples of scatter chart. Okay. So, okay, not this one. Okay, look at this, right? So this is a scatter chart. Similarly, we have this one, BCG report, again a scatter chart. Now, the reason a scatter chart is fantastic is because it can present 3 things. There are 2 variables, one on the y-axis, one on the x-axis. And if you want, there is also a 3rd variable, which is the size of the bubble. For example, low to high is the future importance on the y-axis. High to low is the current capability right? Which is on the x-axis. Also, the relevance today is the size of the bubble. So the larger the size, it is high, and the smaller the size, it is lower. And like this, there are lots of examples of scatter charts. Let me try to show another one to you. Look at this, right? It's a BCG report. And then you can also make these quadrants, right? You all know the 9-box grid, right? The G. McKinsey 9-box grid. I'm sure it must have been taught in college. Right? One of the most popular, consulting graphics. So we have the G. McKinsey 9-box grid. And what you keep in the grid is completely up to you, even though they have originally said industry attractiveness and the competitive strength of business unit. But then now people use it for all sorts of things, right? Okay. So again, you can see that there are lots of examples. I'll just show you one more. Okay, look at this one, right? I am not sure who has created the report. It's the BCG report, right? Again, it's a scatter chart. Now that is what we want to create in Power BI. And I will come to this, right? And let's create a scatter chart. Okay, so first I want to put something on the y-axis. So I will keep my profit. And then on the x-axis, we'll keep our sales amount. In the values, we will keep our subcategory, or even our region can be kept in the values. Let's keep our region in the values. So there are 26 regions. So there are 26 dots that you see. And I would also like the size to be different as per the profit margin. So I'll keep the profit margin in the size and we get different sizes. Now, right now the size is too large. So I want to make it smaller. So in formatting, we will go to the marker and we will just change the size a little bit. I'll make it a little smaller, right? And I also want to add a border. And I would like to add my zoom slider like this. Please do this, everyone. And let's also add the category label. Right, so just see what all we have done. I have added the zoom slider. I have added the category label. And I've also changed the size to -20, let's say. Right, like this. Please do this, everyone. These three: zoom slider, markers, and category label. Correct? And you can see that I can also change this. So if I want to concentrate on one cluster, I can always do that, as you can see, like this, which is great. And here's the best thing, right? I can add a play axis. So I want to show the change month over month, okay? So look carefully what I'm doing. I'm going to keep my month, okay? Not the entire date, only the month in the play axis. So I'll keep the month in the play axis. And now if I click on the play button, it will actually show me the change from month to month. Now imagine you want to see the change for only one of the regions, right? Let's say Western Europe. You can click on Western Europe, and when you click on play, do you see how it is drawing a line telling you how is it changing over the last 12 months. Okay. Like this. So please try this, everyone. Keep the month in the play axis, not the entire date hierarchy, only the month.
So for the lines,
just click on any one bubble, right? And then you will get the line. In fact, let's not keep the region, let's keep the market, because there are only 5 markets, right? You will understand better. Look at this. So there are 5 markets. If I click on any one, let's say Asia Pacific, it will show me how is it moving over the last 12 months. Okay. So one more time. Like this. Right? Any questions, anyone? As a matter of fact, I can even keep my customer name in the values so that I can see, I mean, it's going to look very funny, but then get the idea, right? How my customer clusters are moving over time. I just reduce the size a little bit. Right? So this is very good when you want to look at outliers, for example. See this. So I want to look at my most dense cluster like this. Right? Look at this. So I'll keep the market once again. So we have our market in the values. So we have these 5 markets. Let me change the size as well. Okay. Let me keep the market in the legend as well so that we get, okay, that won't work. Okay, let's remove from the values, keep it in the legend. So we get 5 different colors as well. Okay. And if I keep the region in the values, now it's going to make 26 different bubbles for me, right? In 5 different colors. So I hope this makes sense, everyone. There are 26 bubbles. Why? Because there are 26 regions. Why are there 5 colors? Because there are 5 markets. So we have Africa, APAC, Europe, LATAM, North America, right? Like this. And just see how nice and how practical it is. It's not a question of whether it looks beautiful or not. Of course, it looks beautiful, but imagine if you were doing the same thing with a table, it would have looked like this. I mean, what can you make out from this data? There's no insight, right? It's a report. You're just taking the data and presenting it like you do in Excel, right? But the moment you make it into a scatter chart, becomes so much more practical. Why not a column chart? Because a column chart can't present too many things for you. A scatter chart is the best way to present this. Okay. There is a video on dynamic scatter. I'm not sure if I've added it or not to Power BI playlist on YouTube. If I haven't, I'll do it. I just made a note of it. I'll tell you what I mean by it, okay? Where is my dynamic scatter chart? Let me just see. Workspace is small, and I will come to scatter, right? Let's see. Website small scatter chart. Is this the one? No, this is not the one. PBI scatter. Let's check this out. Yeah, this was the one. Do you see? I have created a Y and an X axis, and I can actually move it. Do you see this, everyone? Like this. How cool is that? In fact, I did the same thing on Tableau, where I also put different colors on it. I think this is on my website. I can show it to you directly there. Look at this, right? So I've created a customer cluster on a scatter chart on Tableau. We can do the same thing on Power BI as well. In fact, I'll record this video later. So there are 4 quadrants, and I can just move my sales value. Do you see this? How cool is that? Right? Like this. Of course, this requires a few formulas because first you have to build the formula and then do this, but I don't know if I have a video already. Let me just check. Scatter. No, I don't have one, but I'll record it tomorrow. Okay? Great. Good. I think we have covered a lot of topics today. So we first saw, let me also change it with the date. Okay, first we saw a tooltip, which is a chart on top of another chart. Then I showed you a lot of custom visualizations. So I showed you R, Python, InfoRiver, Plotly, right? And then we also started with DAX. So we have seen how to build profit margin, which is sum of profit divided by sum of sales. Dispatch time is a calculated column, which is my shipping date minus my order date. Then I also created a table, which is my date table. Why did we do this? Because if you don't do this, you can't do calculations with dates. Then I connected it using the model. And then we wrote the formula for the quarter over quarter change. So the current quarter is calculate sum of sales. Previous quarter is calculate sum of sales, shifting the quarter by -1. So we're going to the previous quarter. And then you return the result. The same thing, how to do it in Tableau and in Power BI, I have explained on my YouTube channel. And if you would like to learn about date tables in more detail, that is also explained on my YouTube channel. I have, of course, shown you the most basic date table, but of course, there are many other things you can do with it. And then finally, we did the scatter chart, something I personally love. I hope you will all agree that it looks beautiful and very practical, right? And it's also dynamic. That makes it even better. Great. Any questions, anyone, before we wrap up for today? So tomorrow we'll be learning how to combine multiple Excel files, and I will also introduce you to something called Power Query. We have seen DAX, but tomorrow we'll be working on Power Query. What is it? I'll not tell you right now because we'll do it tomorrow. But remember, both Power Query and DAX are available on Excel and on Power BI, right? So you're basically learning two tools at the same time. Great. That's all from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Anyone?
So, sir, basically from just what you have shown us, there is of course a lot that's still there in Power BI. So basically, this itself can just in any presentation or anywhere we need to show our. We don't even need to create maybe a PowerPoint. We can just show them the table and the animations of these. That's going to be more than enough at times.
What is the question?
No, sir. I don't have any questions on it because I still got to learn a lot on this.
See, I'll tell you what. You can't learn everything. Even I can't learn everything. It's not possible, right? I mean, Power BI has JavaScript, it has R, it has Python, it has custom visuals. Look at this. It also has Power Apps. It also has Power Automate. It has paginated reports. It is impossible. I don't think there's anybody in the world who knows everything. You know, I'll just on a very lighter note, I'll tell you something. And I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell you. There's a guy called Brian Jones, okay? He is the head of Excel, literally. I mean, he has been at Microsoft for what, I think 20 years or so. He has spent 22 years at Microsoft. He's the head of product, the head of product for Excel, right? He doesn't report to anybody for Excel. He's the one who is heading Excel around the world. And, you know, I was listening to one of his interviews. It was a podcast. And the interviewer asked Brian, how much do you know of Excel? He says very little. He said that there's just so much that is happening and there's so much changing. I can't know everything, right? And that gives you that humility. You have to understand it is not possible for any one person to know everything because Power BI is a platform. It is not just one tool, okay, where you say that, okay, I know this tool completely inside out. It's not possible, right? It's not like a SAP module where you say that I'm an expert at it because it's a platform. You have so many different things in it. You have apps in it. You have external tools in it, right? Like there is a tool called the Tabular Editor, which in itself is like an entire software for Power BI. I'll just show it to you. It's called the Tabular Editor. I want to show you an image as to how it looks. See this. This is a software running on top of inside Power BI, right? It's a very, advanced tool, not to be used by data analysts. This is typically for the IT team, people who work on SQL and MDX and all of that. But the point here is that it is a complete software that is running inside Power BI. Now, Power BI is also there on the cloud, which we haven't even touched upon. There are other things like Azure and data flows and whatnot. So my point is that you have to remember nobody knows everything, but at the same time, you should try to learn as much as possible and go as deep as possible. If you feel R and Python is not relevant right now, that's okay, ignore it. Even I have ignored it as far as Power BI is concerned, because my work doesn't require R and Python, right? But I know what it is. I know where the links are. I know that if tomorrow I need to learn, I know where to go and learn, right? If somebody comes to me tomorrow and says that, did you know that you can actually use D3JS in Power BI? I will not say, oh, I never knew about it. I will say, yes, I know about it, but I haven't used it yet. Obviously, I will not say yes to everything. It is not possible that I know everything happening in the world, but the effort has to be to read more and more and more. Every day you should feel that if you haven't learned something new, it's a crime. There is no excuse for not learning something new, right? So you have to. After my session is over today, I'm going to sit for another hour and a half and do my work and record a video or whatever it is, right? Whether you work early morning, late night, that doesn't matter. But if you're sleeping more than 4 hours doing your MBA, it's not justified. It's as simple as that, right? I mean, These 2 years of your life are supposed to be tough because life is tough. You have to work really, not tough in a bad way, but life is challenging. You have to work hard if you want the right reward. Okay. So yeah, so I think on that bit of advice, we'll wrap up today. Tomorrow we'll work on Power Query. Visuals, I don't think I have much else to show you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer that. But I want to focus on Power Query because Power Query also has many things in it. And Power Query is slowly becoming very important, right? Especially for those of you in finance, it's super important. Even otherwise, in HR, marketing, every area, Power Query is, I would say, more important than DAX. So I want to spend an entire session on it. And then obviously on the final day, we will do 2 hours on Tableau, right? Cool. So I'll just wait for a minute in case anybody has any question. Otherwise, we'll wrap up.